All right. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Everybody hear
Loud
me
and clear.
well? All right. All right. Well, I just want to say welcome in. If you haven't been here before, my name is Cameron Lipford. I am the youth coordinator for North Carolina Families United. And you will get to meet the rest of our team here shortly, so don't worry. But we're just so thankful that all of you are here today. And we hope that if anything, you can just take away how passionate we are about this work that we are doing in the state of North Carolina right now. So give me 1 second here. And if you guys want to, you can definitely go into the chat, introduce yourselves if you want to put your name, where you're from, what you do, any contact information if you want to share that. That'd be great. While I get our presentation going here.
Got a lot of people here. We're excited to see everyone. Thank you so much. Cam, do you want us to introduce ourselves while you're doing that? Or
yeah, you can go ahead if you want to do that.
Okay, so I'm Corey Harper, or Corinthia Harper. I'm the executive director of North Carolina Families United, and this program has been something that has been in our minds and brains and hearts for a very long time. So I'm super excited to be here today.
My name is Fred Morrison. It's a wonderful day to be here and to be a part of North Carolina Family United. As I have joined, it's like a cord, and everyone is pulling together to be a help to the inside dads, those incarcerated, reaching out to children. I have never ever seen an organization like this that gives their heart, their time, their effort. I didn't know it until I see it with my own eyes and feel it with my own heart. This is real. I see that this is not no hokey pokey. Turn yourself around. This is all it's about. Now they go in, and when they go in, hey, they go in, and that's why I say it's like a cord. They pull me, they bring the best out of me. If I feel low, no, Fred, they they everybody just pick one another up and let's go forward. And I just want to share that with y'all.
Fred is my co-facilitator when we go inside the jails. He's our co-facilitator, and I'm just so excited that he's here. So he forgot to say that part.
I'm so excited.
Go ahead, Malika.
Hi, everyone. Well, I am Malika Wiley. I am the program director at North Carolina Families United. And by trade, I'm also a licensed marriage and family therapist for the last 14 years. And so I am excited for everyone to join us and see our presentation, what we've been working hard on. And yes, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Please put them in the comments. Please put them in the chat. But yes, Malika.
All right.
And I don't
Miss
know.
Heather.
Yeah, I was
I was
gonna
going to
say,
say
Heather.
Miss Heather's usually in the background, but if Heather wants to come off and say her piece.
Yeah, she's a very important part of our organization, so we can't leave her out.
Hey everyone, I'm Heather. I work as the senior business manager for North Carolina Families United. So I'm just keeping all of our ducks in a row and stuff. I'm really just a big support piece to the STARR, but these are the faces you see. That's why you don't see my face, but these are our faces. Corey, Fred, Malika, Cam. They're really in there doing all the hard work.
Heather doesn't give herself enough credit, but thank you, Heather, for coming on.
Yeah, she makes sure we get paid. So thank you for your huge part of this, because we couldn't do it without you. And Cameron also, like, we are just We're delighted. We are a great team, and I'm just thankful, very, very blessed and thankful. So, Cam, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I am definitely going to do that with you guys. So let me start. First of all, like we all said, we're just very, very thankful that you guys are here today. This for being able to hear about this amazing program. That's very important to us. And not only that, but Corey, actually, before I tell my about myself, I actually want you to go into your inspiration behind STARR, the STARR Fatherhood Program. And let me just say this: STARR stands for Start Talking About Rebuilding Relationships. I'm gonna let Corey speak on it, but I know it's a dream that was built up, you know, at in her home years and years and years ago, and just be able to live it out next to her and know, all the thought and all the love that she's put into it. It's been amazing. So I'm gonna let her share a little bit about her inspiration.
And I'm just going to say, Cameron, you could do it just as well as I can because she was right there with me. The story behind STARR, it kind of was like a bittersweet moment. My my nephew was more like my brother. When we grew up like brothers and sisters, we was always into things. Well, he had gotten into some trouble, and you know, the summer times, my nieces and nephews would be with me from way back when. I always had my nieces and nephews with me, but this particular time, I was telling my nieces and my nephew, I'm like, listen, it's time for y'all to settle down because one of my nephews is ADHD, EFG, HI, element of P. He was there, and I'm like, we need to settle down. It's time to, sit down. We're gonna write your dad a letter. And gosh, I got so much pushback. I don't want to. Every time you always make us write him. I don't have anything to write. I don't, and I'm like, hey, it's always something to write about. Your dad's not here. We need to tell him how you're doing in school. We need to tell him how you're feeling, blah, blah, blah. And basically they were like, I don't have anything to write about. I don't know what I want to say. So I started naming off stuff. Like, ask him what his favorite color is. Ask him who his favorite teacher was. Tell him who your favorite teacher is. Ask him what his favorite Christmas present was that he got as a child. Ask him what was one thing that got him in trouble the worst. What was his worst spanking? Because we got spankings. What was a good time that you remember that you'll never forget? I was just asking all kinds of questions. Well, then they started joining in and saying, oh, I'm gonna ask him what his favorite car is. Oh, I'm gonna ask him who taught him how to ride a bicycle. I'm gonna ask him how when he cut Aunt LaShawne's hair, what he did with the bangs, because he cut all my bangs off. But they were just asking questions. I'm like, yeah. So I'm writing them down. Guys, when I tell you, we sat there that weekend and I believe we put together probably about 1,500 prompts of things that we could ask him. By the way, I don't think we ever wrote that letter, but that is how STARR began, because I began telling them how important it is that we write or that we call, or well, we can't call, but when they call us, that we have things to talk about. And I began to explain to them that, not everybody has that type of support system where we do. We have a very strong family and we're very supportive of each other. And I told them it's important that we do this. And so we sat there and I'm like, and I think one of them asked, well, what about those families that don't have that support? And I said, you know what? We need to make sure that all families have that support. Well, how can we do that? And I said, well, we can start by giving them these prompts and letting them know these are some of the things we can talk about. And so the more we talked, and I said, well, guys, we have to name it. We have to figure out what we're going to name this. We can't just go around giving this to people saying, hey, look at this. We have to have a name for it. And that's what we started talking about, a name. And from that, we came up with STARR. Start talking about rebuilding relationships. I think it's important because while individuals are incarcerated, that's the time to build on those relationships. When they get out, is not the time. They got to find housing. They got to find a job. They got to get their license, their social security cards. They got all these things that they have to do. So when they're incarcerated, that's the time to rebuild that relationship, to reimagine that relationship, to reconnect that relationship, to redefine that relationship. So that's another thing. We started doing the R's. And what about the R? What about the relationship are they going to fix? They're going to rebuild it, reimagine it, redesign it. Sometimes a relationship is what was before cannot be what it is now. So you have to go back in, you got to stir the pot, and you got to fix something different with those same ingredients. My nephew was good at that too. He could make a mean sloppy Joe and then he'd turn it into spaghetti. I don't know. He's just that person. So that's how STARR began. You have to reimagine, rebuild, reshape, redevelop. And that's what we did. We talked about it, and hence a STARR was born.
Thank you, Corey. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more passion and everything that I could put into it. But thank you for sharing that. So as she said, now I will share a little bit about myself. I'm not going to let everybody else, have to bear the burden. No, I'm just kidding. But like I said, my name is Cameron. I'm 27, the youth coordinator here. And with my lived experiences, you can see I have a picture here. It is an older picture, but of my father who's incarcerated and my brother and sister, who they are now 20 and 21. So they are adults, are supposed to be, but but yeah, so that's my story. My father was incarcerated from I was 13 really was the age, and at the same time I had just moved to North Carolina. I'd only been here for a year, and really getting to know my dad's side of the family because I lived all the way on the other side of the country for most of my life. I'm from South Dakota because my mother is Native American. We're Native American, so it was a whole lot of change going on in my life. Of course, being 12, 13, I'm going from middle school to high school. I'm in a whole new state. I'm with whole new family, which they're family, but I still didn't really know them, right? So it's like, I don't know what's going to go on. And within a year of all that change, I had to lose my father. And like a lot of people, and I think especially essential to like what we're doing now. And if I'll be honest, I guess this may have dawned on me at this moment. I was talking with a friend the other day, actually, because I was back in town, my hometown, while we were doing some work. And I remember my dad was, I believe he had an ankle monitor, right? Because he was going through the process of whatever he was going through. We had just got a brand new house to move into, and we were moving our things to this house that was less than, like half a mile from the other place we were staying. So we got the car packed full of stuff. It doesn't have a seatbelt on. We're half a mile going like 15 miles an hour. We're on little side streets. We're not going crazy, right? Um, and he gets pulled over. Well, another thing, if you're from a small rural country town in North Carolina, some of those roads are not too safe to be pulling over on. So he decided that, it wasn't safe. And so he was trying to just signal like, hey, I'm going to try to get to where it's safe, which should be normal and totally fine. But the cop, of course, didn't take it that way. Come on his microphone and call him back up and all these things like that by the end of that. But basically my point was a simple seatbelt violation was really the last time I got to see my father outside of bars. And I didn't know, he didn't know. I don't know if anybody knew that was probably the last time I was going to see him or we were going to see him. And all his kids were with him at this time. But that was the last time I saw him. And it didn't start with, oh, my father's been incarcerated in prison. It did start with in jail. He was in jail for like about 2 years as well, before he did, transition into, his sentencing and whatnot, right? So that's kind of how I was introduced to that world and that light. And then I did, even at a young age, I was allowed to be present for his journey, and that kind of stuff. And when he did get sentenced, um, and like there's finality, like you find out how long he's actually going to be gone for. That's when it, really hits for sure. So that was a struggle, but fortunately for me, like stated, I had a very strong family behind me on all sides, and I also just kind of had a passion to do well in other areas that I could control. So I chose to do well in school. I chose to do sports. I chose to go to work at 15 and a half. Like I wasn't one of those kids that was really against those things. Like, I mean, like most people, adult or child, like I complained at times, of course, right? And I didn't want to do it all the time, but it was something that I could have control over. But that was also kind of like a mask I wore at the same time, because I just had a moment like my junior year, fast forward like 2, 3 years later, that I was just like, you know what? The pressure of everything is just starting to weigh on me. I'm not going to be the good kid anymore. I'm not going to do everything right. Like, everybody else in my life, has done these things. My father is where he's at. And then another part of my story is, my mother has struggled with substance abuse for most of my life. And I do still have a relationship with her, but still same thing, very extended. She's across the country, all that kind of stuff, right? So just another part of my story that I was dealing with. And I guess you would say two around that time, like one of the only things I can remember as a child or young adult, because I was also in that critical age of, with my dad being incarcerated. When you turn 16, you have to have, an ID to go see him. Like you're treated basically like an adult, right? And you're not really looked at as still like a child, a young adult. But I was able to have a 1 day with God, which was an amazing program that um a lot of people may have heard of. But they go into the prison, and we're able to just have a whole day of like food and fun and games and connecting with, our fathers and all of that. So that was amazing for me. But like I said, in the whole 15 years that my father was incarcerated, that's the only thing I can remember that happened. And even then, it was like I almost wasn't able to go. They weren't really trying to let me go because of my age. And so that just speaks to me, like, in what I'm passionate about. Like, yes, I do believe obviously young children, they need the guidance the most, right? But I think people, teenagers, young adults are forgotten about, because just like that father, they say is stuck in thinking their child is still a child even they grow up. It's the same way I think for us. It's like I know I've grown up, but I still have like a childlike relationship with my father because I never got to have that, basically. So that relationship still needs to be maintained, watered, grown, those type of things. So I mean, and to nip it all up, a little bit towards the end of my life and like going off to college and doing things, I did get my life back together my junior year after, going, not being too good for a couple of months, but I got it back together. I did go to the early college and I graduated with a high school diploma and 2 associate's degrees. And the perspective I give on that as well, really, in all honesty, is I say I did it because I knew going away from home and going to like actual college and not having that support and other things around me, um, there was a possibility I may not have been successful or would make the right choices at that college. So I was like, let me do this as a safety fail to fall back on. And I was like, I'm already in the process of doing it. So why not just finish? Right. So that was my mentality there. So that's what happened. So then I moved away from home, came to college like most young adults, and got in a relationship and those type of things. And then around 21 is once again where my life changed a lot. My little brother, I still call him little, but he's not, he's bigger than me. But my little brother moved in with me his senior year of high school. And that was just a whole nother navigation because he's only like 5, 6 years younger than me, not too much younger. So trying to be his sister and his mom at the same time, navigating that. And then also within that process, realizing how much of a lack of guidance there is, let alone I would say for parents who, obviously birth their children, but say a caregiver like me, whether it be I was young or not, there's not really much help out there or much, questions that people are asking to see if you need help. Like I had never, like, I've been in school, but I've never put somebody in school. I don't know, like, if he's in trouble, who I'm supposed to talk to, or like, I felt so like an outsider of something that shouldn't be that way. So there was that. And I went, through the struggles of just that and making sure he was successful. And then my sister moved back into the state, and just having a journey of all that of it's always been us three against the world. And now for us, my father is getting ready to come home in about 5 months. It's been, like I said, 15 years, June 9th, 2026 this year. So, and that's going to be a whole nother can of worms. And it's another thing that I think needs to be highlighted. Of course, it's amazing. I'm happy he's going to come home, but it's going to be a whole nother journey for all of us. He's going to be learning himself. We're going to be learning each other. And, we are adults. So I know it's hard to let go of control. But I know that me and him have talked, and really for us, this is kind of more like, we're going to grow together type thing, because like I said, I'm 27, going to be 28 this year. I'm, not that I don't need the support and the love, but it's more like, okay, now you're here and can support me as I just continue to grow to be, who I am, right? And in my journey, like, it's not that I don't need you, if you want to pay my bills, I'd love that. But but yeah, so that's really my life story. And I still currently live in it, and just thankful that I'm, in a position to even do this work. I never thought I'd see myself. I didn't even know this was a possibility, to share my story and impact other people. And then, I had the opportunity to actually go speak to our graduating class. And at first, it was on a whim thing. I didn't know was going to happen, that everybody wanted to. I was like, okay, I didn't think it'd make much impact, or like, really what it would do. But they were definitely very appreciative, and were able to see, how and why they are important to their children. Like they said, even same thing, if we don't say it enough, if we don't say we love you enough, or these other things like writing the letters. Because same thing, like my thing was, when I write a letter, and if he calls me, what I wrote in the letter, is there no point, because I didn't told you on the phone now. Like, that was my only thing. And obviously technology and like them having tablets and other things like that have changed the scope of communication as well. You can do video visits and all other things now. But yeah, so that is just a little bit about me. So before I let Miss Malika come on, we are going to actually watch a quick video here. And this is Xavier's story from Inside Out Dad, which is go ahead.
I wanted to say, just because I don't know if everyone knows what program we're talking. So like STARR is our major program, the START, talking about rebuilding relationships. And so the video that she's going to show is we are actually inside of the jail doing active programming of STARR. So START, talking about rebuilding relationships, and a curriculum that we use is called Inside Out Dad. And so that is a part of this video that she's showing. I wanted to make sure we connected the pieces for those that may not know.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to say, but thank you, because that's what you're the program director for, to remind me of these things. All right, and like I said, it should be about 5 minutes. We have sped up the video just a little bit, so you have to open your ears and your eyes, okay? But just give me 1 second, and I'll get this shared with you all. And somebody just make sure to give me a thumbs up to make sure the sound's working.
What was missing? Connection. We go in my room at night and just cry like, what did I do to him? He had me. Shouldn't he? He should be here. Where I come from, it's a lot of crime, drugs, gang banging. My father, as far as I was concerned, didn't have any kind of role. He never tell me anything of substance, any real guidance. It was never real, like, what you doing in school? How's your grades? You playing football? One of the reasons I played football is because if I was good, if I was the best on the team, I felt my father would come see me. We won 3 championships. And after every single game, I waited for him, just was hoping that he would come see his star running back son, and he never came. I can remember wondering, what did I do wrong to not make him come and see me? It made me want to lash out. With Without a father around, I wondered, find different things, get into different things, find other people to teach me, people in my neighborhood, the guys down there who were doing all the bad stuff. Easiest ways in our community to get money is to do underground things. I guess I just went too far with it, and here come the police. I was just a fool. The day I was first brought into that prison, one of the first things that went through my head is, how am I gonna get out of here? I had to hold it down. One CO, 16 inmates, hour exercise, TV time, and back in that cell. That was the reality. And it didn't really set in until those doors closed. Bam! After a couple days, I realized that I had made a bad choice. My girlfriend was only 22 years old. She was just a baby herself, and I left her hanging. I could remember thinking that Xavier would feel the same way about me that I felt about my father. I'm not gonna be able to connect with him and show him the path to go on as a man. What are they gonna do now? I'm gonna take care of them. All this drama I done caused in these streets, people know me by name. What if they do something to my son? What if they do something to my girlfriend? I can't protect them. I was looking out the window, looking into space. I heard a whole bunch of police cars. And in my town, if you hear 5, 6, 7 police cars, sirens going, somebody's been shot. When I heard those cars, I yelled, hey y'all, somebody been shot. And I know it, somebody done got shot, somebody got killed. Some gentlemen were looking for drugs and came to the wrong house. She was there with her girlfriend and the kids. She told them, y'all can't come in here, and it's got kids in. What's wrong with y'all? And the one dude told her to, shut up, and went to try to pistol whip her, and she fought back, and they all jumped on her and shot her.
I have some information I need to tell you, and it's very upsetting. Your girlfriend just passed away. I understand this is a trying time.
At that point, I had to make a serious change in me, my mind, the way I did things, and the way I presented myself to my community. I didn't have all the answers, and I needed to either go to someone or go somewhere where I could find some guidance on fatherhood and being a better man.
When I met Troy, Frankie said, I want to change my life. I want to be able to be a real man when I get out. Will you help me? I said, Troy, I'm with you. The information I've gotten from Fatherhood Initiative is they have several books, and I'm using Inside Outside Dad, and they help the incarcerated father adjust to the outside life.
When I first came to the class, I was like, well, I'll just go here and just see what's going on. And we all just start sharing stories and connecting and talking about different things. I said to myself, I'm in the right spot. This is where I need to be. This is what love and togetherness and community and being better men is all about. When I first walked out of that place, one of my first goals was me. Changing how I did things, changing how I went about life, changing my frame of thought. I wrote down all my goals. First thing was a job. One of the second things was to get to Xavier and hold him, show him some love. More involved in the process of what he's doing, school, homework, football. With every game I try to be there, every practice I try to be there, I'm more involved.
With my dad at my games, I feel better and I score more. I love him a lot because he's a very good dad. And if you make a mistake, he'll make you keep going and going, make you lift your head up.
The Fatherhood Initiative Program helped me to realize that you have to make some changes in your life because what you're doing is going to affect your boy. What do you draw in school?
I draw cities a lot.
Where'd you learn that from?
You?
How to draw cities? Kids do exactly what they see their parents do. If I didn't straighten up how I did, he would probably follow in my footsteps because he wanted to be like me. I tell my son at least 5 times a day as I love him. We love each other. I think he understands and believes that my focus is to be best man in this world that I can.
My dad loves me, and he would do anything for me.
What a beautiful video.
The video gets me every time. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, that's only like my second time watching it now, so it was great. All right. I'm gonna get the slide pulled back up. I don't know if you want to maybe start going into your part here.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. This video, I'm like, it could be a tearjerker, and I know we sped it up a little, but it is such a powerful video when we think about just the vision that our executive director, Corey, had, and just how we have worked on getting funding, maintaining funding, talking to other organizations, especially the National Fatherhood Initiative. They have been a big part of someone that we have partnered with. And just to give a little statistics before we dive into how we set up our program and our ask for you all, is that there are over 800,000 parents that are in prison. 92% of them are fathers. And so, according to the National Fatherhood Initiative, so you'll see it as NFI, 1 in 28 children now have incarcerated parents. And so that's about a 79% increase since 1991. We also know in the state of North Carolina, over 20,000 children have parents who are incarcerated. And as you all heard from Cameron's experience, they don't just go from being taken and then right into the prison systems. There is a process. And so one catchment area that we saw didn't have as much programming, but they were in and out of the community was the jail. And so we have partnered with our jails, 2 of our jails here in Western North Carolina, and that is where our programming started. So if you all are like me, if you have that visual, I'll do the overview of our STARR program with that visual. But as she's pulling that up, I would say a part of us. So we went to the drawing board and we interviewed tons and tons of individuals who have been incarcerated, tons and tons of family members, community stakeholders, and we just wanted to just hear their stories. So we did that for a couple of years, right? Tell me about your experience. Every single one of us in this organization has someone who has either been incarcerated, was incarcerated, or knows someone who is incarcerated. And just speaking of what resources would we need? How can we fully help the whole family system? And so one thing that we noticed is that there is programming for some of the fathers, not so much in jail, but in jail, we wanted to really do the Inside Out Dad and partnered with the National Father Institute. But as she's pulling that up, that is a 12-week core curriculum that we do. And we're like, man, this is great. But we feel like we're still missing something from all the research and data that we got. The family said, we don't really know what to do. Or like Cam shared, we did not know that once our child turned 16, that they have to have a driver's license, or we didn't have certain resources, or there's so many resources out there. Where do we start? I wish that we had someone that we could talk to. And so we developed, which makes our STARR program a little more unique, is this family focused service that goes on. If you could zoom it in a little, and then we'll start from we could just start from the red. So I'll go through this, of course. If anyone has any questions, always feel free to put them in the chat. But I'll start from the red at the beginning. So our program, so the STARR program, like Corey said, is an umbrella. One of our, this program is our STARR Fatherhood Program. And so it starts with NCFamU, so us, getting a partnership with a detention center. Once we do that, we go to the first yellow to the left-hand side, which is the local, Can you guys see this? Does it need to be bigger? Are we good? Bigger? Okay. So we start with the left-hand side of, we work with our local correctional facility, so our point of contacts, and we give them this questionnaire. The questionnaire consists of things of like, how many kiddos do you have? Are you an active father? Active father just means, do you have someone when you are getting out that you are fathering, mentoring, or are your biological kids or that you're raising? Once they fill that questionnaire out, we also have in there where they can opt in for optional family focused services. And we explain to them what that is. You do not have to participate in our fatherhood program and the family focus, but as you'll see soon, everyone that we have done this programming with so far has wanted that family focused services. So on the family focused services side, this is where, while the fathers are inside getting this curriculum, the families, we are contacting them, we do a brief needs assessment to see what they need. Like if we do a snapshot of right now, are your kids struggling in school? Do they need access to a tutor? Do they need access to a 504 plan? Do they need some advocacy? Are they struggling in the mental health realm where we can connect them to other resources? Do they need, so a plethora. This is where I say I have an ask for you all of, we know we cannot do this in silos. As a marriage and family therapist, I love bringing in individuals, and I'm like, the more the merrier. So this is where I want you guys to start turning your wheels of like, how can we partner with North Carolina Families United? How can we, what resources do we have at our nonprofit or our organization that can really serve our North Carolina, our counties, right? And so that's that little circle over here. It's a little circle, but it's a big impact. So we start off the program. If we go down to the middle, we do our core programming. Like I said, it is a 12-week program, and then they have a graduation. We just finished graduation, and let me tell you, I do not have all permission from the families yet to share that graduation video, but it had all of us in the detention center, from the sheriff to the fathers, to the facilitators, to myself. We were all in tears of just how amazing this program has been, and the fathers and the families, and just the connection. Like we knew it was going to be great, but we didn't know the healing and the growth that could happen so quick over 12 weeks. So if we go down a little, I'll go back to that yellow part where we have the post-graduation. And so this is where we're at now. So you guys are seeing this live action. Like I said, we just started live programming, but if you want to slide it up a little, Cam, so then we can see the green, and then you can make it a little bigger. But as she's doing that, so we're currently in the yellow green, right? So the yellow green is now that the guys are done with the programming. Of course, we are doing this in jail, so there are stipulations, right? You have to at least be able to be in jail for those 3 months. I really commend our jail point of contacts, because they have done a great job making sure that they curate a group of men who are ready for programming and are going to be there in the extended time. And so with that, so now that we're in the green, some of our fathers are either going to go into DAC, so the Department of Adult Corrections, or they're going into the community. And so we're still going to be able to track them. Those that are going into DAC, now they are going in. And it's and I'll let Corey and Fred take this part over when they get to their section, but it's so nice and refreshing hearing them say, like, when I'm in the big house or when I'm in prison, this is the attitude that I want to have. This is the connection that I still want to have to my kids. And then those that are coming into the community have a support system, right? They know we are already starting to connect them with other resources. And then as you see in the post reentry, we also will continue on classes with them. So we have 6 evidence-based classes that we do, from money management to working with the co-parent or the family, which we've already started that family part up here. So it's like, it just continues to roll. We bring in the family at this time, connect them with appropriate community partners, which I'm hoping every single one of you on this call will reach out in some way if it's in your heart to help this population, and access to peer support groups. And so that is something that we are also starting with fellow individuals who have lived experience of being previously incarcerated, or have someone, and where they can, really speak to these fathers and connect with them. And so, like I said, I wanted to give you a little visual so then you can start to get your mind wrapped around of like so we can go back to the PowerPoint, how STARR is built and just the STARR Fatherhood Program that we have right now. As she pulls that back up, perfect. So this is from our graduating class right now. This is just from one of our sites that we're at, that has actually graduated. And so the STARR Fatherhood Program cohort 1, we had 5 fathers complete 100% of the program. We did have 8 fathers enrolled. 2 of them transferred already. We still keep in touch with them. And then the other one, he decided it was not a fit for him at this time. He could try again later, but we had 7 children that were served, 12 core parenting sessions that they had, and that's that Inside Out Dad, where we have that partnership with the National Fatherhood Initiative. 4 caregivers actively engaged. And so what we count as the 4 caregivers are the ones who have, my mind is slipping, custody of the children. And so those are the caregivers that were actively served. But within that, we also have aunts and uncles and a church family member, right? And so like this community of individuals now that we have access to, or that can call us and get resources, etc. 100% of the fathers consented to family outreach. And so we thought that that was amazing. And they were like, we've never seen this before. Usually we'll get something, but we haven't ever seen this combination. And we have gotten to collaborate and now have 10 plus community partners working with us. And so I am a firm believer, nothing can be done in silos. I mean, we do, but like, let's open it up. There's, like I said, 800,000 individuals, and in North Carolina, 20,000 children impacted. We need all hands on deck, right? And so if we go to the next slide, I won't go too much and bore you all with too much data, but we did want to make sure that we were in alignment with the North Carolina Reentry 2030. And so for those of you that don't know, Governor Stein, he set forth of in North Carolina, when it comes to reentry, there are some deliverables and some objectives that they want done. And so we wanted to make sure that our program aligned with that. And so 2030, which also speaks to, which I really love that him and the First Lady have seen the power of just community and coming together, and that just not one entity can do this work. Like we all need to be like locked in doing it. And so so far, some early indicators of change that we've seen is improved communication and emotional awareness. We have been able to partner with this organization called Somethings. I'll give them a shout out. And so they offer free mental health services for the teens and their families. So getting them connected that way. We've seen positive feedback from correctional staff, from the father's behaviors, from how they're showing up, how they are taking leadership roles in essence among their peers. And so that has been, which means less getting in trouble in there. And you guys can see the other ones too. And so the last one that I want to highlight is the importance of the caregivers reported increased communication during incarceration. I know Corey and Fred, they have been our facilitators. They did fathering plans, and that has been a game changer too, where the fathers, have to say what they, I don't want to go too much in it. I wish we had like hours and hours, but or the fathers went into like what they wanted to be as fathers, but just being able to work with the caregivers, work with the children. And so yeah, that also we were able to help. And also, last part, help the caregivers find some clarity around what they need. I know Cam highlighted her father's about to get out of jail. And so, I mean, prison. And so for our guys getting out of jail and going into the family, already talking about like what would that look like? What do you need? How can we help prepare you? Are there underlying secondary issues such as substance abuse or anything that we can go ahead and help them connect with? So that no one gets lost in the shuffle of life and getting out and the excitement. And so yes, we could do to the next slide. I can have, we'll just touch on this briefly, and then Corey, if you want to add anything in. Another part of our family focus services, we did a back to school initiative. So we had our community partners help. We put backpacks together. We got another grant for that as well. And we also built a relationship with Bethel Colony. So again, this is in Western North Carolina in the Caldwell area. And we're able to support those fathers. But if you and Fred want to speak, because you guys were there, they're in the picture at the bottom with the dads.
Yeah, we were blessed. As she said, we have some community partners. Bernhardt, we had a grant from Bernhardt, and we were able to bless families with the book bags when they started back to school. And with Bethel Colony, we were able to do kind of like an angel tree type thing with them and their children. And, you know, substance abuse is, something that is also affects families. There, sometimes the father is there physically, but when you're using substances, emotionally, mentally, you're not there. Physically, the shell is there, and a lot of them said, I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that, but I couldn't because I needed a fix. I needed this and I needed that. And so we spoke to Bethel Colony. They allowed us to come out, so we were able to speak with the fathers. That program is amazing. I have a brother that just went through that program, and it really, really helped him a lot. It really changed his mindset. They really get in there. They are Bible, everything is by the Bible. Everything is by the book, the big book. And it holds the men accountable. And, because when they go in, they aren't in the mindset of doing anything except getting their next drink or their next fix or whatever it is. But they come out changed individuals, realizing that they are worthy. So it allowed us, like I said, our community collaboratives, like Bernhardt was, we got that connection and we were able to present some of their children with gifts, and we were able to give them some good food and just tell stories and talk, and it was amazing. We're looking forward to maybe possibly going and doing one of the classes there with Inside Out Dad. They aren't in confinement because that is purely voluntarily that they're there, but just helping them learn how to, reconnect with their children is something that they have expressed an interest in. So we're excited about that connection as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, we're saying the same thing. I just love the bottom photo. We have tons of them, but this is just one where the fathers got to wrap their Christmas presents, give them to their kiddos. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We can do the next slide.
Yeah, and that's what I want to say. I know it's 12:50, so we definitely want to be conscious of you all's time, but this is important information and work we want to share. So please stay, as long as you can. We will have time for questions here momentarily. But Fred, I'm going to ask you to actually share a little bit about yourself and kind of, what this has been like for you in this role as the facilitator.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fred Morrison, co-facilitator with NCFamU United. I lived the life that these men are living right now by being incarcerated, being in jail.
And being a father.
And a father. I was confined for many years, incarceration. And when I walked in the federal prison, I was scared at the moment. And they said, one thing for sure, you're going to remember your number, 929-74071. That's your identity. That's who you are. So that's how they know who you are when you locked up. They give you a prison number. And that's one thing you will never forget. That's your inmate number. I said, Lord, I don't want to be an inmate. I want to be a man. Because I didn't know how to be a man. Didn't know, because I made selfish, foolish mistakes in my life. And to become a man, you got to put away selfish and foolish things to become a man. As I was incarcerated, I was asking men with life sentences that would never see another day free, what does it take to make it out? They started telling me these things. This is how you make it out. Your word is your bond. If you say something, do it, mean it. If you owe someone, you pay them. Don't write a check that your ass cannot cash. Excuse my language. I'm 29 years old, going on 30. I need to know. You know another thing, youngin'? You work. Don't rely on your family to send you money. You go to work. Something that I didn't do on the streets. I worked hard what I done on the streets, but it was in vain. By me listening to these lifers, they gave me a path to make it out safely, because a lot of men don't make it out. You got Crips, Bloods, Latin Kings, all these gang members, people coming in the system joining. I refuse to join anything but follow Christ. I will walk to the medical or walk somewhere. Gang members will have the sidewalk covered to pick out the weak and the strong. I would say, what should I do? Should I go around them or go through them? You know, the shortest path is to go through and not around. So I would go through and I would say, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, of respect. And as I continue my journey of learning how to free my mind in prison, I went and got a GED. I took many classes to try to figure out why we continue to make the same mistakes. And I would listen to men, why they were making these foolish mistakes. A lot of it is because of drinking, drug abuse, anger management, greed, all these things. So much. I'm like, wow. So what I done, I took these things from these men that was giving me their testimony. I took the good and I applied it to my life to make me a better person. Well, after all these years that I've done, to becoming a man, not wanting to be an inmate, I always put myself as a man and not an inmate. I never came home the few decades that I done. So I never got a pill. I filed for pills, all kind of things. I never got or released for not one day. So I decided to file clemency. Because guys would say, Big Fred, man, you still in. I seen dudes coming and going. I'm still in, and I will meet back up with them. So it was a gentleman say, have you ever filed for clemency? I said, nah. He said, file for clemency and see if you can get some help. I filed for clemency. They took my application. One day, they told me I got a lawyer. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Something might happen. But you know me, I didn't want to get too excited. I wrote the President of the United States, that was President Barack Obama. I wrote him a 3-paragraph letter. I told him, dear Mr. President of the United States of America, I just want to thank you for this time to write you this letter. I said, I got 26 years and 8 months. I haven't been home one time. And since I've been in this class, since I've been incarcerated, I try to help the youth. I try to be a help while I'm inside of the system to keep other men from coming back in. I said, President Obama, I said, I have family and friends are waiting on me with open arms. If you allow me clemency, it will not be in vain. That's all I said. Next thing I know, I was walking, going to work in Unicorn. I seen a warden, didn't think nothing about it, but he was by himself. And he had an envelope that had top secret on it. He said, you Fred Morrison? I said, yes, sir. He said, I got a letter from the commander-in-chief to give to you. God used him to bless me to come home. And that's why my heart goes out to the men that's incarcerated, that's in jail. You can't come out and you can't make it. It's the choices that you make. And one choice you need to make is to love your family, love your children. Go back and get them. Come home and go back and get your children. That will help you from making the wrong decisions in your life because you want to be in their life. And that's what I want to share with each and every one of my story.
So Fred is my co-facilitator. And, you know, we go into the facilities and we do Inside Out Dad programming. But what you just heard is what really connects the men, the fathers, because they see themselves in Fred. Our first class, like they said, ended on Thursday. We just graduated our first class. And I was sick as a dog, but I cried like a baby.
It was tears of joy.
It was so amazing. We're so excited because, I mean, these men, we asked them like, well, what would you change? This was our first class. So we said, what would you change? They said, the only thing we would change is if we could, one, we want to take it again. And two, we wish the classes were longer. We wish you could do it more often. Man, y'all just were so vulnerable and so amazing. Y'all talked to us like we were people.
They want it twice a week.
They said, we feel so comfortable and like y'all make us want to do better. Y'all make us believe that we can do better. And we love y'all. You know, Fred asked them one question when we first started. Fred, tell them what you asked them.
I asked the gentleman, I said, would you do anything to support your children and family? They said, I'd do anything, whatever it takes. I said, that's the wrong answer.
Why?
Because if you do anything to support your family and your children, it'll put you right back where you at today.
What are they supposed to do?
Make the right decision to do what's right.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. And it turned the channel.
Instantly.
And I'm going to say one more thing. When I looked in them men's eyes last Thursday, it was white as a baby's. I seen them men, if I just want this chance to go get my children, put my arms around them and tell them that I love them and that I'll never leave them. And I said, when you make that promise, you keep it because them children will hold you accountable. And that's what makes this class so beautiful. We
Awesome.
dig deep. We go inside of the heart and the mind.
And let me tell you, that first class was amazing,
Yes.
but they challenged Fred too.
Oh, yes, they
They
did.
challenged Fred too. They said, Fred, you gotta talk to your sons, and you gotta do this and do that. And it was amazing. I would sit there and just like, I mean, I connected with these young men on such a different level than Fred connected with them. You know, I didn't have a father in my life growing up. My brothers were my fathers, and I watched them go in and out of jail. But I also saw my nieces and nephews, and they struggled when their dad came back home. It was a lot of, well, you ain't been here. I ain't got to listen to you. You this, that, and the other. And they had to take time to rebuild those relationships back.
Yes.
So that's another reason why STARR was so important to me. Let's fix those relationships while they're incarcerated. So when they come home, that support system's there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They already have it there.
I also have Fred, and they were like, we need to see you in the frame. So make sure you show your face so they can see who is
I'm sorry.
It's so big.
and sharing his story.
I have never want to be on the spotlight.
No, we appreciate it. And I'll turn it over.
Yes.
So thank you so much. And again, I think this, Cam, I know I'm taking it over us, but whatever, but I'm gonna pass it over to you. But I was like, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I hope you all see, like, even just the energy that we have in this, right? There's so much more that we would love to share about, like the programming and just how important it is. And we are so blessed and honored to have Fred on our team. Because these men,
I'm inside out dad too.
yes, he is.
I don't know if y'all can see this.
It won't
show.
Oh
okay.
no, his certificate. He is. All the men got the certificate. So
yes.
we haven't got those pictures back yet,
Yes.
but man, that graduation was awesome. But Cameron, if you
Yeah.
wanna,
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, once again, Fred, for sure. Thank you. There's no other way to share it the way you did. And like I said, I was grateful to be able to be there for the graduation. And my number one takeaway, or what I heard from the fathers, was, of course, they've had many classes, and it wasn't the curriculum, it was our facilitators. It was the heart that they saw from not only the facilitators, but our whole organization, Miss Malika, me, everybody in the background. But once again, we just want to thank you all for being here. I thank my, entire team for the work they put in and being able to share so freely, so we can try to get the importance of this across and just continue to build and build and build. So there's resources for all these families and youth that we speak of. And, most importantly, one of the biggest takeaways we want from this, like we said, is please, please, please reach out to us, email, or we can schedule. It doesn't matter. We want to get with all of you. There's a way that you can support and partner. It doesn't matter if you're in the state, if you're across the country. We are open to ideas. We have ideas. There's so many things and so many more ways that we can all do this amazing work.
And Cam, I just want to plug this in really quick. I see two of our collaborative. I'm going to get in trouble. I know I am, but Jeanette and Courtney have been very inspirational to us. I'm sorry, your name just left me. Oh, Justice for Families. They've been very, very important and inspirational to us, supporting us, giving us action items to do and things. They are out of New York, but we love you all. And Nelson, oh gosh, I done forgot his name. He's from Washington State, and he does an amazing job with Dad's. Well, it used to be Dad's Move, but he's doing some new things now. But we are just very thankful and appreciative of, our collaboratives that we have all across the United States. Nelson is in, like I said, Washington State. And, it's important that we have these collaborations, because what's going on in another state may not have been thought about here in North Carolina yet, but it gives us the ability to connect, rub shoulders, see what's going on there, see what's good there, and see if it's going to work here. And I'm just very appreciative of all of our friends and collaborations that we have. So.
Yes, Corey, thank you so much. And there's so many people, that we haven't, been able to highlight, but, one day we are all going to be able to definitely give each other the props. But we want to be respectful of everyone's time. If you do have
Sure.
time to stay, we're more than welcome to stay here and answer some questions if you guys have any. If not, our contact information is on the screen. And like I said, this isn't the last you're going to hear of us. We just wanted to set the precedent for the year of 2026 and what North Carolina Families United is doing, and let you know and understand there is work that's not being done. It's not just meetings to have meetings to have meetings. So we thank you so much. Like I said, we'll be here for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, definitely you can come off mute, camera, chat, whatever you want to do. But I thank you guys for being here and taking this serious. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Be safe in this crazy weather. I don't know how it is where you guys are, but there's still ice all over my roads. But yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. And
Yes.
like I said, we'll stay in this space for a while for anybody who has any questions or anything. Thank you guys so much once again.
Thank you. Oh, that was such a good, I hope you can hear me. This is Malia. That was so good. I mean, I was like, oh my God, my eyes are burning, just from listening to the different stories. But how do you support you financially? I mean, I know that y'all got the grant for the book bags, but is there a way to support financially? And I mean, I know I supported church through Givelify, but are y'all on that, or are y'all on anything else that can just be like automatically being able to support you or whatever?
Go ahead, Heather. I see you off mute.
Yes, absolutely. So on our website, sorry, this is Heather. On our website, and I'll drop that website link in our chat. We actually have a donations tab that you can go to. There are options on how you would want to donate, and if you want to make that a monthly recurring thing, that will be under the donations. There's different tiers that you can sign up for, but there's also a place on there where if you want to customize what you want to send, and if you want to make it a monthly, annually, or quarterly thing, you can do that as well. So that is right there. I just tagged that down there in the chat.
I also wanted to add $12, right? Like, so $12, that's all it costs to support one father to go through the program. And so, great question. Sometimes we do have someone that's like, how can I sponsor a father, right? And so we are open to sponsoring a father. If you have $12, you can sponsor a father. You got $24, you can sponsor two. And so just knowing it doesn't have to be these huge amounts. A little goes a long way to give them their fatherhood book and to start building those connections with their family members. So
Yes, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
I also wanted to shout out Melissa Radcliffe. I see you here, and I know that you've been doing a lot of work down in the Durham area. And hi.
It's good to see you. Yeah, so I'm with
You
our
as
Children's Place, and
well.
actually we are statewide. We are based in Durham and part of Coastal Horizons, based in Wilmington, but we've been very fortunate to do a fair amount of prison programming across the state. So we're excited to be here today. Got a couple of coworkers with me, and also just interesting to see folks from the past just showing up in the chat. I'm going to follow up with a couple of folks. So yes, glad to be here this afternoon. Thank you.
It's definitely a lot of work to be done. So thank you for coming, and look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. What about Nelson? I see Nelson. Are you still here, Nelson?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
Nelson, tell me what you're doing right now with your program.
So what I did is I started basically a consulting group because for years I've been asked, how do you start something like this? So that is the basis behind my new business, is to develop fatherhood programming to use directly on fathers and fatherhood programming to teach agencies how they can build more effective fatherhood programs or start them from the ground up.
Yeah. And Nelson, tell us why fatherhood is so important to you. I just put you on the spot, didn't I?
No. Well, I would start from my personal experience, my father was not involved. And when I was 22, I was basically forced to figure it out. My ex-wife has significant mental health issues, and when we got divorced, I got custody of my son at 3 years old. So I suddenly had to figure it out. And I had a struggle as a single father. I remember, getting into so many systems that were completely built to serve moms, and
Yeah.
some of them didn't even know how to work with me. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And that was kind of, I guess, the light bulb of why I started doing all this work, because one, I absolutely see the need for fathers. And number two, we need to have systems that better work with them.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
I agree. I agree.
That and my second wife, their father has never been involved. So I see what happens without that involvement.
Yeah, yeah. We just got a paper this morning. I think it said $154 billion annually is the direct result of fathers not being in families' lives. And because of that, you know, that's where the community has to pick up the slack. And, so without fathers and that extra income or that extra support, there's extra money that's needed. And so fathers just play such an important part.
The stat that is probably going to forever be burned in my mind, is just right here in my own city in 2024, 95% of the homicides in our city were committed by people under 19 years of age. And almost 100% of these individuals came from fatherless homes.
And what city is that?
Tacoma. We're basically about 40 minutes south of Seattle, and the second largest city after Seattle in Washington State.
Yeah. Such an important part. Fathers are very much needed. Parents, period, are needed, but there's more fathers, absent fathers, and we have to fix that. So thank you for being here. I'm very excited
Oh,
that
thanks
you're
for
here.
inviting me.
Sure.
Yeah, thank
Sure.
you.
And that's
And
why I
yeah,
think that's why
Sorry.
the like men that's already out here, it's harder to reach, because like when I reach out to them and speak with them, they're like, oh man, this and that. Until they fall, that's when they need to be reached.
Yeah. So
Because sometimes when they're out here, it's hard to tell them. It's hard to
get them to
get
pull
that
them
to
in.
see what you're doing wrong, because they call that hating. No, it's not hating, it's the truth.
Yeah.
And so by these men that when they go in, their mind's clean. It's not on drugs and alcohol and all these things of the world. And so now when you could grab them before they could come out, then it opens their eyes to a wide of awakening. Do I want
Yes.
this in life, or do I want this in life? I done this in life. I done the drugs. I done the part. I done all this. Now you show them this beautiful picture of life and that you can live it. And that's why we got to start grabbing them then. And it's hard because, like you said, them young guys out here, half the time I'm scared to talk to them. But I said, for God I live, for God I die, I will talk with you.
Yeah.
I put my life on the line. It's a woman, I'm going to say this, a woman last year drawed a gun on me because I seen like a 9-year-old boy cussing better than I can cuss. I stopped my car. I said, excuse me. I know I'm not your daddy, but I'm your big uncle. Oh my God. This woman come strapped out and pull a gun and the whole clip fell out. I didn't know to run or what. I said, God, I didn't know it was this way. And I'm speaking the truth. And she had gave me a mouthful and allowed me to get in my car. And I took the flight. Instead of the fight, I took the flight. I lived. And my goal is still today when I see this kid and this mama, I'm going to come humble. Can I be a mentor to your son?
Yeah.
Can I be a help to him? Please. Because she can remember me and I remember her. But I'm like you, the guns out here is crucial. They ain't doing no talking. They firing off. But I want to reach back out to this child and hope that I could be
A mentor.
a mentor or a big uncle, a big brother, something to him, because the road that he's seeing on the streets is the route that he's taking right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful. I love it. Well, it looks like, Cameron, if you want to wrap us up, unless there's any other questions that anyone has. If not, I know we're already 16 minutes past the hour.
Yeah. Thank y'all for
Yeah.
staying with us. I appreciate it.
For
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
No,
having me.
Always.
thank you, Nelson. Yeah, once again, we're just thankful for everybody that was here. And, it's not the only time we're going to have to talk. So y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to connecting with all of you after this.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Love y'all. Love everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Vonna.
Oh, did y'all want to meet after this?